Right, so question 9, we've got a taxi app that's absolutely not a clone of any existing app. A ride booking app that matches passengers to available drivers in their city. Passengers use the phone to book a ride from a nearby driver. The app finds the nearest driver, that's relevant, who is currently available, and displays their location, as well as a message stating how far away they are. And I'm highlighting these because these are, if we're being told these are in the description, then they're probably going to be important later. We have a top level design for the driver matching part of the app. So first of all, what is step 1 is getting the driver's current location from GPS. And we're already told, because it's in black there, that the out from that is it gives you the location and GPS. That's fine, we're not having to work that out. Step 2, calculate how far each driver is from the passenger's pickup location. So to know how far each driver is from the pickup location, we need to know what the location is. So location goes in there. I don't need anything else in there. There aren't any other variables I've already got. To be fair, having reread the question, how far each driver is, I suppose each driver's location might have been a point there, and if you had added that yourself, then that wouldn't be a problem. Step 3, find the shortest driver distance if there are any available. So we need to know the distances and we need to know the availability, and that's what we're getting out of step 2. So we need to know distance for each driver and we need to know the availability. Remember as well that the brackets mean arrays, and it's important that that is not an array because we've only got one location because it's one passenger. So step 3, find the shortest distance. So that's going to be a variable, right? That's not an array because that's only one number. The shortest distance is just going to be a single value, and whether or not you found one. And the reason that we know that found is because found is being used as the in for step 4. So these are 2 variables I've got in there. So I suppose it's an unusual one as well, unintentional, that what's coming out of one is going into the other. But that's not the reason why that appears the way it does. That's just coincidence. Step 3 finds the nearest driver who is available, and we're told that that is going to be true or false. So that's a boolean. If you think about the National 5 question that a lot of you would have done, the 2022 question where it was like plane or train tickets and it was all the little squares and which ones were booked, and it was an array of boolean true and false, and it was a tricky question at first. So finds the nearest driver who's available, true or false, and returns a numerical value representing the shortest distance. If there are no available drivers, then the found variable should be set to false. Using a programming language of your choice, you write code for step 3. First of all, if you haven't already done it, go and look at the 2023 question 11 about washing machines. Now that had an array of records, this one is using parallel arrays, but the logic of the algorithm is pretty similar here. First thing I've done is I've set found to false because at the start we haven't found any yet. I can't just say I'm going to update that when I don't find one, because by definition it's never going to run if we don't find one. So we have to set it to false at the start, and we'll update it to true down here if we find a match. The nearest distance, so I've initialised this with a silly value. It's distance in miles, and if it's within a city, then it couldn't be that. The reason I couldn't set it to the first one in the loop is the first one in the loop might not be available. So I need some other way of doing it. And again, this would be something that you would see in that 2023 question where I think it was a price of a washing machine, so they set it to a kind of absurdly high price to find the cheapest, because you could then effectively guarantee that the prices you find will be less than that initial value. Then we're looping, so for I or for loop or whatever. So what's the loop? In range, for the length of the distances array. We don't know how many there are, so we have to loop for the whole array. If distances I is less than the nearest distance, that's the variable that I initialised at the start. Now that's what it's called in the data flow. If you have used something that's sensible, then I think you'll be fine. I wouldn't get hung up about variable names here. The point is that that's the same variable. So if it's less than the initial value and available I is true, so our second condition. So this one is a find minimum algorithm with an extra condition. Nearest distance is then updated to that distance because we found one that's less than the first one, and we've said that find equals true. And that's it. There's nothing that we have to do at the end of it. So it was only a 5-mark question, although it was quite a big box. And remember something I've said before, if you end up with a big box on the page like this, so that's your page, and then all of this taken up by a programming question, and you might just have a few lines of code up there. You could leave yourself a bit of space, start here, and then if you realise that you forgot to initialise a value of a variable, it's easier for you to go back and put something in there, and it doesn't mess up your answer as much. Because I know that some of you get a bit stressed about whether it's readable and how messy it is.